Welcome to the Pit Check, your weekly news for the best and heaviest new albums from your favorite extreme metal and hardcore bands. This is one of my favorite type of weeks where every single band that we're going to talk about is wildly different from the last. Like every New York polycule will tell you, the same thing over and over again gets kind of boring. So today we're here to bring back some of that excitement into your playlist, like when you first met. So as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do this every week. And let's get right into the reviews for this week's best new albums. You've gotta hear New Zealand hardcore. The hardcore and thrash crossover band Brainwave have released their debut album titled Ill Intent. The energy behind this band is unreal. The guitars are non-stop ripping these death metal and thrash riffs that are just so angry and so aggressive, it feels like I should apologize to them for whatever I did.
Hey! No, please don't kill me, please don't, I don't want to die, please don't kill me!
I'm also obsessed with the way this band blends this like classic 80s and 90s death metal guitar work with tons of like New York hardcore and even beatdown hardcore elements. It gives you all of that technicality and skill that you want, but with more brain smoothing breakdowns than you can handle. This is a band that deserves way more attention here in the US. Every single person in this band, the bassist, the drummer, the vocalist, are absolute monsters. And huge shout out to DIY labels like Existence Productions. I'm stoked to see what other underground New Zealand bands are gonna make it overseas next. Want a deathcore band that's gonna wreck you emotionally and physically? The incredible deathcore band Carcosa has released their latest album titled The Axe Forgets, The Tree Remembers. This is easily Carcosa in peak form. I am constantly astounded that this band is able to walk that fine line of blending these disgustingly heavy breakdowns, slams, and pig squeals with some of the most masterful songwriting of the genre. And I don't just mean these technical riffs and grooves that all these instrumentalists are hitting, which, by the way, are some of the best that this band has ever produced, but also their ability to tackle these motifs and themes that are so much darker and heavier than the typical and cliche gore and despair of the genre. The lyrics, the atmosphere, the intensity, this album feels like they needed to get it off their chest or it was gonna eat them alive. This is a fantastic new album from the boys at Carcosa, and with Angel Maker ripping out these new singles as well, Johnny's been on a hot streak lately. But let's be real, everything this man touches is cold. He's like a deathcore King Midas. Texas puts out some of the most brutal death metal. The old school death metal band Tribal Gaze has released this ripper of an album titled Inveighing Brilliance. This band has such a good blend of old school death metal and just ferociously heavy beatdown hardcore. They'll go back and forth from these thrashing riffs and solos and then to these grinding blast beats and then just consciousness ending breakdowns. About the album, the band said, quote, "The aim is always to make songs that we love listening to. We're just trying to add something of value to the death metal world. Our single, Beyond Recognition, is a good representation of where we're at mentally. Pissed during the fast parts, pissed during the slow parts." This album is pure violence and I love it. There is a solid 10 tracks here, but I could do another 20 easily. This band knows how to keep things fresh and interesting on every single song and knows exactly how to keep you wanting more. Did you know that members from Fromjoy and Mouth Breather have a 2000s metalcore band? The Numetal flavored hardcore and metalcore band 6 Months to Live have released their debut EP titled Falling Down Like an Omen. I like how this band decided to put everything they love into a blender. Let's start with some early 2000s metalcore, complete with clean choruses. Then we'll add some new metal grooves and electronics. Oh, you like MySpace deathcore riffs and even some blast beats? Yeah, throw that in there too. What about mathy panic chords and like some chaos? Oh, and why not? Let's add some metallic hardcore and even some beatdown hardcore in there too. Kobe! This is a quick little 5-song EP, and while that's obviously way too short, this is still an insane debut effort that shows a clear trajectory of what this band is capable of in the future. Alright, it's time to pay your respects to the legends. The unbelievably influential New York hardcore band Biohazard is back with their original lineup for their latest album titled Divided We Fall. That's right, the beef has been squashed. Like literally after a weird little run-in at the airport. Actually, wait, I'll just let them tell the story.
My brother says I ran into Evan at the airport. He was crazy. He was all skinny. He looked different. I was like, Evan, you looked at my rich. I was like, oh shit. My brother has no idea of the beef and all the nonsense with the band, and he's like, yeah, you should call him. You should call him. He seemed really good. And my wife is listening on speakerphone because we're in the car driving on vacation. And she's like, why don't you just not be an asshole and call the guy? Like, what's the point? You guys, it's long enough already. It's COVID, people are dying. Stop being a fucking asshole. Just call each other. And she was right.
Those are valuable life lessons right there. Stop being a fucking asshole and just call each other.
That's how the band got back together, right? It was that simple.
This album is wall-to-wall with those old-school hardcore and groovy punk riffs. And of course, their pioneering signature tough guy hardcore meets hip-hop crossover sound. And when it came to writing the album, they just said honestly, they wanted to write an album that they would have been proud of in 1992. Quick tangent, literally a couple days ago, I got to see them do a Q&A and a performance at this record shop in New York. And those dudes still rip so hard. Is your deathcore not evil enough? The blackened deathcore meets tech death band Immortal Disfigurement is back with their latest EP titled Hell Is Right in Front of Us. This is that dark and sometimes orchestral deathcore that is just dripping in atmosphere, while also being unreasonably heavy, but not in a turn your brain off caveman kind of way. This is more along the lines of obliterating your entire body with their technicality and punishing brutality. If you like bands like Lorna Shore, Signs of the Swarm, Enterprise Earth, or things like that, this band is gonna be for you. And speaking of Signs of the Swarm and Lorna Shore, if this vocalist sounds familiar, it's because CJ McCreery is the former vocalist of both of those bands. is a short 5-song EP. Actually, I don't know why I said short. It clocks in at a whopping 30 minutes, partly due to this all-timer of a closing track titled Swap Gods. Do you miss 80s hardcore? The Denver, Colorado-based old-school hardcore band Destiny Bond have released their sophomore album titled The Love. If you miss when hardcore punk was gritty and lo-fi, the songs were a little bit messy and sloppy, but just overflowing with energy and angst, then this is the band you've been waiting for. There's no snapping things to a grid or VSTs in sight. I also love how much this band embraces the punk roots of hardcore punk. These riffs are so classic and nostalgic while still sounding fresh and unique. There are just so many good grooves and melodies and two-steps, and even some pretty solid hard-hitting breakdowns that never veer into like beatdown territory. This band deserves way more credit. They're just so fun, and I guarantee they'll get your adrenaline pumping. Want some blasphemous death metal? So, death metal? The Slovakian death metal crossover band Denying God has released their debut album titled Falling of the Pale Mist. This band is a great combination of deathcore, black metal, and technical death metal, and so much more, all blending nicely into this really haunting and oppressive and larger-than-life sound. This is one of those bands that makes you feel like you're fighting mythical creatures on top of a snowy mountain. There's also some sick features here from Mental Cruelty and Of Ruin, whose styles mesh perfectly with this band. And I really appreciate the production on this album. There's all these symphonic and ethereal elements, and even bass drops, but they never drown out the instrumentals or especially make everything sound fake or like plugins. This is honestly such a good debut album from this band, and I'm really digging how surprisingly uplifting it feels. Honestly, if you had like a big exam or like the bar, I could see this being a great album to study to. And now, super quickly, I want to shout out some of these albums that we did not get to cover this week. I am only one man, and covering 8 albums a week is really hard. First up, Bind. This is some metalcore meets beatdown hardcore, and it's really good. I just didn't cover it because it's only 4 songs, and I don't think it even clocks in at 15 minutes, but definitely keep your eye out on this band. They're really good. Sync With Me is a melodic hardcore band that has a really nice, fresh sound, and Internal Bleeding also put out an album if you like that slamming, brutal death metal with some hardcore influence. And obviously, here is the entire list of all the albums that came out this week, regardless of whether or not we covered them today. And as always, let me know if there's any bands I missed, or if you have a band or your friend's band has an album or something coming out. Let me know in the comments below. This is a safe space for music nerds. So yeah, share your shit. Hopefully people in the comments will dig it as well. And who knows, it might make it on the show. And that's it. I'll catch you next week for next week's best new albums.